Am I the asshole for making inappropriate noises when my mother-in-law called my husband's phone at 2 a.m.? My husband Kevin and I got married months ago. Ever since we moved away, his mom started calling more often. She had a mental breakdown when she heard we were moving. She begged we stay near cause she needs him though her two older sons are there. Anyhow, she'd call at random times then started calling in the middle of the night, specifically 2 a.m. I thought that was so weird. But she said she wanted to hear Kevin's voice, but was too busy to call during the day. Kevin responds to her call every time saying he's worried there might be an emergency. It's exhausting, and completely ruins our alone time. I asked her to call at like 10 but no. She kept calling at 2. Kevin said he can't bring himself to ignore her calls and asked that I be patient. Last night, I decided I wasn't having it. I waited till Kevin was asleep, and put his phone on vibrate, and waited for her to call. 2 o'clock rolls around, and the phone starts vibrating on the nightstand. I stretch my arm to answer and then I start making S and X noises from the bed. I'm talking full on moaning and then some dirty talk then moaning. Few seconds in and she ends the call. Kevin wakes up and asks if I was alright. I tell him it's just the fever then he goes back to sleep. I woke up to a complete disaster with Kevin angrily asking WTF I did last night when his mom called. Clearly she was livid and mortified cause Kevin said I just traumatized her by having her think we were having S** when she called. I told him what I did and insisted it was just out of frustration. But he said I shouldn't have done that and embarrassed him and made his mom uncomfortable. I said she was calling at 2 a.m. He said still, I acted childishly and potentially harmed his relationship with her. I told him to just tell her I was behind this, and he said, oh don't worry about it. I will then demanded I apologize to her immediately, but her shaming texts made me refuse. I might have went about this the wrong way, but I was just frustrated, that's all. Am I the asshole for repurposing my mother-in-law's gift after she gave my daughter a gift card to pierce her ears? Our daughter who just turned 10 does not yet have her ears pierced. This is extremely unusual in my husband's side of the family as all the girls tend to get their ears pierced as babies. My mother-in-law and all my sisters-in-law have their ears pierced numerous times and it seems to be a tradition. All my nieces have at least 2 or 3 holes in each ear and some are even younger than my daughter. My mother-in-law has been asking when I will get my daughter's ears pierced ever since she was born. I told her I prefer to wait. She did back off for a while, but the topic came up again recently as my daughter has started asking when she can get her ears pierced. I was considering allowing her to get it done, but was thinking it might be a good gift when she becomes a teenager. Word got out that my daughter wanted her ears pierced and my mother-in-law jumped right on this. We had a birthday dinner for my daughter a couple weeks ago and my mother-in-law said she had a very special gift. I have to say she was generous because there was 2 pairs of gold earrings and a gift card for some accessories place that does ear piercing for $150. There was a note with the gift card saying that this was for ear piercings. My mother-in-law then told her she can use this to catch up to her cousins and made a comment about how one of her aunties had like 5 piercings in each ear around the same age. I was very annoyed because it appeared my mother-in-law made the decision that my daughter could get her ears pierced. I told my mill that $150 is a lot to get your ears pierced and she said my daughter can either get an expensive set of earrings, as she would really prefer if she gets a few ear piercings so has something fun to appreciate with her cousins. This even frustrated me more because I felt my mother-in-law was interfering in something that was not her business. I later told my daughter I would rather her wait for her to get her ears pierced. She was disappointed but I said we will store away the earrings for later and we could use the voucher to buy some necklaces and bangles, as well as some gifts to give to friends when we attend other parties. Well, my mother-in-law visited us yesterday. She asked daughter if she had used her gift to get her ears pierced yet, and my daughter showed she hadn't and told how we ended up spending the gift card. I could hear my daughter tell my mother-in-law from the next room that she would like to get a few ear piercings, but I wouldn't allow. My mother-in-law got upset at how I abused her generous gift and started having a go at me about being overly uptight about just a few earrings. She also told me that she put a lot of thought in the gift and I was very ungrateful. She also said that if we weren't going to use it for the intended purpose I should have just returned it so she could use for my nieces. She ended up leaving early. Additional info: my husband is on my mother-in-law's side and telling me I should just accept his family's tradition. I was 50-50 it's on the ear piercing thing, but the gift angered me and may have caused me to decide to wait. Am I the asshole for refusing to attend my in-laws' Christmas dinner? My husband's family has a tradition of always eating out at a pizza restaurant for Christmas Eve dinner. Once we got married, it was expected I would join the family for this. Problem is, I cannot eat dairy, and this particular restaurant only has pizza, no dairy-free food at all. So last year I chose not to attend the dinner and just meet up with everyone. After my husband attended the dinner, my mother-in-law was upset with me because they usually exchange presents at the restaurant and said it was rude of me not to attend. But I didn't want to watch everyone else eat and chose not to go. During this past year, my husband was diagnosed with lactose intolerance and doesn't eat much dairy now either. So we suggested that this year we would make homemade pizzas. That way it was still the pizza tradition, but we could make dairy-free options for ourselves. My mother-in-law said no and said that I specifically was ruining their family's tradition. She said we should all go to the restaurant still and the two of us should just eat beforehand. I still have no interest in watching everyone else eat. My husband and I are refusing to join them and are instead making plans to spend Christmas Eve with my family. We were told we are ruining Christmas for the whole family. I'm starting to wonder if I'm being too stubborn and we should just go to the restaurant to make everyone else happy. So I'd like to know, am I the asshole for refusing to go to the dinner? Edit. To answer the two common questions coming up. I have an allergy, not just intolerance. Also, we have called the restaurant, and there is dairy in their crust and sauce, so they cannot guarantee any dairy-free options. Am I the asshole for paying the in-laws back for gifts given to my kids? Today my boyfriend's family came to see our twins. They do not visit often, usually for times a year, even though they live close by. They do not support us financially in any way. Recently, they went on vacation and wanted to come by because they had gifts for the children. I've never stopped them from visiting, so was happy to set a time today. They came today, and my twins, who are 2, did like their gifts, which were to teddy bears. They were uncomfortable because they don't know their grandparents. They were pushing themselves on the kids and forcing hugs act. Nana mentioned over and over that the toys were $15 each, as if she felt they were unthankful or something. I am sure these toys will be played with, and I said so several times. I said thank you repeatedly. My kids are behind in language, so were unable to say thank you. But I think they like them. She continued to go on and on about the gifts that were not asked for. It got really uncomfortable for me, so I got up and took $30 from my purse and paid for the toys. She took the money and didn't mention the cost again. She said the cost at least 10 times in 2 hours. Well, I think I shouldn't have to pay for anything I didn't ask to be bought. I could not listen to it any longer. My boyfriend is mad now that they have went home, saying I embarrassed them. Am I the asshole for putting my mother-in-law in her place? My mother-in-law, 73 female, and I, 37 female, never had the best relationship, but since my father-in-law died, February 2023, we clash even more. My husband, 52 male, is a mamaspo. She can do no wrong, especially now that she is a widow. He helps her when needed, and she comes to ours every second weekend, having family dinner and family time. I try to engage as little as possible, but it's not always as easy. Our 2 children, 16 female and 13 male, hate the weekends she visits because they feel obligated to spend their time entertaining her. Her family image is just sunshine and roses, where you have no arguments and never raise your voice. I, on the other hand, think arguing is not always bad and sometimes needed for a fresh start. Now for my most recent situation. While at dinner, my husband and I got into an argument, and it got heated, especially from my side. For a little context, he lost his job and is suing his ex-employer for settlement money since they laid him off. We were arguing about what's gonna be an acceptable monthly salary for him to start a new job. She jumped in and wanted to tell her part, to which I told her to keep out of it because it has nothing to do with her, in a loud voice, to which she had a meltdown and left, practically running away. My husband says I'm in the wrong for telling her off. I don't know anymore. Did it make me an asshole for paying them back, implying that they are too poor to buy an inexpensive gift? Please leave your comments down below to any of today's stories. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.